colleagues, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure that I have tonight to welcome you to this event, the opening of Courting Blackness, Recalibrating Knowledge in the Sandstone University, in particular the exhibition part of this larger event, which includes a symposium that has been running all day today and will run all day tomorrow. It's a great honour that I have to be invited to MC this event. I'm Campbell Gray. I'm the director of the University of Queensland Art Museum, and it's certainly a privilege for me to be in this position. I would like to invite Uncle Des Sandy to come forward and perform a Welcome to Country. Uncle Des.
How are you, everybody? Yeah, great. It's some pleasure to go and say, how are you out there? You know, is there anybody out there? Look yeah, all right. First of all, I'd like to ask you all together to say who you are, or your name, maybe where you come from, your tribe, your clan, whatever. Maybe there's a loved one not really travelling too well, it's in hospital, and by our by joining ourselves and speaking our name and everything, we create the power, you know, that will come through us, straight through that person that's really not going too well, especially the old people. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll start with that, and I'll tell you a little bit about the place. On the count of three, all together, harmoniously as possible. Well, hey, this is a learned institution here. You know, no, it's a great night, and I'm glad that you're here. We're all here together, really enjoying this occasion. So, righto, you can let it rip here, can't make better noise, we're not gonna, no ceiling on the thing here. All right, on the count of three, let it rip. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that wonderful? Hey? You know, tells us that there's no strangers here now, only people we haven't met. And it also tells the totem, which is, it's a bird, and it sings out in the night. More, more, more. Let me see. There's maybe a predictor of the Bureau of Meteorology. Getting close? What is it? Huh? You're right, it's a rainbird. Or what we know as a cuckoo. Lays its eggs in other birds' nests, you know. Yeah, so the bird's got to bring those birds up, actually. The other one just lays it and it takes off. Yeah, yeah. So the name of the bird is the Toowong. I know. There's a suburb down there called Toowong, but Toowong is the cuckoo bird. He's the totem for this area, and it's right here now with us. And I can feel the energy in the, you know, what we're really creating now. That's what, because you asked me to do a welcome. That brings in the totem. It doesn't matter what area, what the totem is. The totem's here. You know, it's got to right down the bend there, down to then. There's a place up there, just up there where that bridge is. That's called Indrapilli. Anybody know what Indrapilli is? No. It's the gully of the leeches, you know. Over here, yeah. Another place over here called Turinga. It's called Turinya. I don't know what Tura means stone, but I don't know what sort of stone it is. Tura and Nya is sort of explanation, place of the stone, the special stone. So all of those clans and locations or precincts, or what do you call them? Just like here, you've got a couple of Ks down there, you'll get another one, and then a couple of Ks, you get another one. On this side of the river, on that side of the river is all different, different names, and that, yeah, that's why basically the Brisbane River really hasn't got a concrete sort of a name, because there's too many clans and things. Huh? Yeah, you can't call it once, and then another clan come down and say, well, yeah, yeah. And that's about it for, yeah. You know, I love introducing all those places, and where we are, that's the only place that I talk about. If I went over there, so I'd just talk about that place over there, but not collectively, you know. What's that? Because we got a lot of places. And I'm really proud to be standing up here, and you know, where there's Aboriginal people involved, I'm always. It's not. I'm not leaving everybody else out. You know, like people who are not Aboriginal people, but I'm particularly proud when I see Aboriginal people really go. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. What I could tell you about. I'm really looking forward to see some of the what's the name up on the building over there. I think they're going to have. Yeah. Jinga Walla Walla Yin, Nawunnam. That means the eldest and all that stuff, you know. More impetus yin, good on yon yumble. Glad you all come here together with yourself. In spirit, let them may land. Well, Mogwai done. Mogwai is a spirit or a ghost. Because I remember when I was a Jarjum, I'm not going to say how long ago, but a few years ago, we used to come home, you know, in the afternoon, tired out, had to feed and all that. Go into bed. You don't go into bed. You're on the bed and you're jumping from the thing onto the bed. And Grandma used to sing out, "You Georges better keep quiet in there and go to sleep." And we say, we'd stay quiet for 17 seconds. And we start yuck-eyeing again then. Hey, Grandma, sing out again. "You Georgians hear that?" Mook, 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 mook. "You Georgians don't keep quiet, and Mook Mook's going to come in, you know. I love old Grandma and aunties and uncles. You know, the old people, there's lots of people here too. My greatest regards, you know, whether you're Aboriginal or not Aboriginal, the old people, you know. And that's what keeps us going. Had to have some person there to teach me, you know, lead me by the hands through life, because you know, we've got to slow down sometimes, and we can't be in the fast lane all the time. Yeah. And I'm really proud of all you old people. Whether you're Aboriginal or not Aboriginal, it doesn't really matter to me. I love old people, huh? Yeah. So Tyre, which is a place of, this place here, for having it way over there somewhere, that's where it would be. And the Burrell, which is the learn something each and every day. I also come to the sneaking suspicion that I really don't know everything. But I might be able to live with it, you know, I'm learning. And the border, everybody knows what the border is here. And the border has an aura now, yeah, us making it really, by being with each other, enjoying each other's company. Yeah. And, yeah, well, I'm going to take the whole show over, so that's about it, Rui.
Over there's Jagger Elder, and there's no doubt about the warmth and the sense of humanity in the words that he spoke and the manner with which he spoke them. I can't help but contrast, in some ways contrast, although it's not quite a contrast, the sense of the land and the sense of place that we've just experienced with Uncle Des's presentation, and the signifiers of authority and power that exist within this court. The buildings are there to represent, visually, semiotically represent, systems of authority and systems of knowledge and structure and history and various things. And I'm ever more sensitive about the idea that we acknowledge the traditional elders of this land, and how temporary perhaps those Western edifices are. On the other hand, the reason I say this is because Courting Blakness, Recalibrating Knowledge in the Sandstone University, helps us to think about those relationships once more. It is interesting to me the number of sandstone reliefs and portraits and crests that exist, and Rill Hinwood is here, who has had a great deal to do with the production of these more recent ones, and how many of them represent the Indigenous, the Aboriginal history here, and the relationship between the institution and the Aboriginal traditional elders and traditional owners of the land. And I think the power in Courting Blakness takes us back to those relationships and helps us see beyond the institution, but also inside the institution, and ask questions about it for ourselves. I think it's a great event that we are here to celebrate, but also to cause to process through us and inquire and question and wonder again. With that in mind, I would like to introduce Professor Tim Dunn, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, UQ, the faculty within which this event is emerging from. And Tim will introduce our guest speaker, Professor Dunn.
The Honourable Linda Burney, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, New South Wales Parliament, Adjunct Professor Fiona Foley, Curator of Courting Blakness, the Courting Blakness artists Michael Cook, Megan Cope, Carla Dickens, Natalie Harkin, Archie Moore, Ryan Presley, Rhea, Christian Thompson, Dr Campbell Gray, Director of UQ Art Museum, members of the University Senate, UQ colleagues, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to Uncle Des for that really fabulous welcome to the exhibition and to this place. It is a great honour for me as Dean of the Faculty to stand here among the many talented visual and performance artists, to marvel at their creativity, and most significantly of all, to think about what this place means when it is differently represented. What does the Great Court mean? At the most obvious level, it is the heartbeat of the University of Queensland. It is where we teach students, do research in our offices, drink coffee, host graduation parties, and on a lovely day like today, some of us might just grab a few moments to walk around the cloisters. Yet the Great Court is something else. And nothing illustrates this more starkly than the art installations all around us. These installations challenge assumptions we hold and too often take for granted. Assumptions that sandstone universities are open to all. Assumptions that there was no higher education before they were built. And assumptions that the knowledge they generate is of universal value. Far from being universal in time and space, we know that knowledge is always for someone and for some purpose. And the only way to respond to such contingency is to recalibrate knowledge, as this public art installation promises to do tonight and for the rest of September. Courting Blakness tells us many different stories about this place, and they are stories that need to be heard. I would like to acknowledge the work of the artists and the curator, Adjunct Professor Fiona Foley, for inviting us to share this transformational cultural and intellectual experience. In Fiona's words, "I can only make you think." She is of course right. We must think critically, and think again. Since becoming Dean, I've been struck by the commitment to critical thinking that is going on in relation to Indigenous issues, a commitment that can be found in every corner of the faculty, and it is one that I fully share. In that spirit, I'd like to thank the creativity and dedication of staff from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, in particular Dr. Fiona Foley, Dr. Sally Butler and Dr. Morgan Brigg, and all the professional staff who have provided outstanding support for this event. The other pleasurable duty I have to perform this evening is to welcome the Honourable Linda Burney MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, New South Wales Government. Linda is the first Aboriginal Australian to be elected to the New South Wales Parliament and is a proud member of the Wiradjuri Nation. Her commitment to Indigenous issues spans more than 30 years. She began her career as a teacher in Western Sydney and spent many years working in education. In 2002, her expertise was formally recognised, and she was telling me about this earlier, when she was awarded an honorary doctorate in education from Charles Sturt University. Linda was the first Aboriginal graduate of this university. During an outstanding political career, Linda has held many cabinet-level positions. Linda was president of the Australian Labor Party in 2008. In April 2011, she was appointed Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Linda is also Shadow Minister for Family and Community Services, Early Childhood Education and Aboriginal Affairs. Linda has held senior leadership positions in the non-governmental sector. She has served on a number of boards including SBS, the New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Board and the New South Wales Board of Studies. Linda was also an executive member of the National Council for Aboriginal Reconciliation, President of the New South Wales Aboriginal Education Consultative Group, and is a former Director General of the state's Department of Aboriginal Affairs. In the community services portfolio, her primary concern was the safety and well-being of vulnerable children. Linda took over the community services portfolio prior to Justice Wood handing down his report following the Special Commission of Inquiry into Child Protection Services. She led the whole of government reform of child protection in response to Justice Wood's recommendations through the 5-year plan, Keep Them Safe. These are just some of Linda Burney's many achievements. On behalf of the University of Queensland, please accept my gracious thanks for you coming to open the exhibition Courting Blackness. Thank you, Linda.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Uncle Des, for your welcome, your generosity, and your explanation of the very special places around this university. Can I also join in acknowledging the many people that have already been mentioned tonight? I won't go through the list again, but I did want to particularly mention one person. Of course, that's Adjunct Professor Fiona Foley. We have known each other for a very long time, and I think, Fiona, 25 years ago, we would not have dreamt that you would be sitting here as an adjunct professor, or I would be a senior politician in this country. So it's wonderful to, isn't it interesting what life does? To the university, thank you so much for the invitation. When I received, everyone, the invitation from the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Peter Ho, I have to say that there are not many occasions these days that I become overwhelmed and absolutely touched by invitations, but I have to say to the university, to the artist, and to everyone here, this was an occasion that absolutely humbled me and touched me very deeply for many, many reasons. To the artist, you are also absolutely astounding, and to look around this beautiful space with, of course, what this exhibition is absolutely about. Courting Blackness, recalibrating knowledge. That's the right topic, isn't it? I haven't brought my other piece of paper up with me. Really, I can't imagine another setting, everyone, in the whole of our beautiful, huge country that is so fitting for this exhibition. So to everyone involved, particularly the artist, my deep gratitude and absolute astoundment at you all. I wanted to just say a couple of things and not talk for a very, very long time, because I'd much prefer us to be able to watch the projections. But what's one of the fundamental things, of course, to this exhibition is the sense of place. It is about challenging place. It's about understanding place, as Uncle Des has helped us do. And place for Aboriginal people is a fundamental part of who we are and what we are, and what this country is about. And in that context, of course, I'm from the Wiradjuri Nation, as introduced. And for those of you that don't know Wiradjuri, I think one of the artists is Wiradjuri. It is southwestern New South Wales, down in the Channel Country on the Murrumbidgee. My country embraces the Lachlan, the Macquarie and the Murrumbidgee, and I am of the Murrumbidgee Wiradjuri. And so much about what Courting Blackness is about is also about identity. And I think it's important that we understand just how extraordinarily strong Aboriginal identity is, and how important it is to all of us as Australians. I come from an era, as some of the more senior people in this room would come from an era, where being an Aboriginal would have to be the worst thing that could ever happen to a person, where we were encouraged to pretend that we were Indian, pretend that we were from the islands, pretend that we were Spanish, anything other than Aboriginal. And to see a sandstone university, to see this place absolutely telling the story of identity is extremely powerful. The fundamental issues, every one of this exhibition, are a number. It's about challenging European-centric ways of thinking. It's about Australian identity. And I always tell the story, just very briefly, that in terms of my identity, one of the most growing up experiences, everyone that I had, was becoming an executive member of the National Council for Reconciliation, understanding that I had a responsibility in my Indigenous identity of taking my place in the broader Australian community. And that's precisely what Courting Blackness is about. It's about taking our place in a sandstone university, and the university should be extremely proud of what is going on in this space over the next 2 weeks. This is also about relationships between Aboriginal people and the university. It's about reinterpreting space in the great court of this university. It's about reshaping all of our identities as Aboriginal and Australian people. It's also about, of course, challenging political thoughts. It's about creating dialogue, and the notion that there will be 25,000 people go through this space over the next 2 weeks. No other artist could ever dream of having 25,000 people going through what is the most astounding exhibition space I have ever seen. But it is also about nationhood. It's about place, and it's about belonging. And those things are extremely powerful in relation to this particular exhibition. Can I just say that, I was at something... Hello, how are you? I'm very glad you're here, and of course I'm behaving myself. That's a black thing. I think it's also important to remind ourselves that for our people, coming to university is very recent history. I graduated back in 1979 as the first Aboriginal graduate of what is now Charles Sturt University. There were 10 teachers then, and I was at a conference last Saturday and learnt in New South Wales there were not 10 Aboriginal teachers. There were 1,166. And that is the power of education. And we need to remind ourselves that there are still many people from the Aboriginal community and many other communities that are having their children go to university as the first in their families. But education is the cornerstone of social justice. It is what lifts you up, breaks that cycle of poverty, and creates a life of choices and a life of chances. It is very, very powerful. The other thing that I just wanted to say tonight, particularly to the artist and to the adjunct professor, is that this reflection in this space is extremely magical. Being here in this space with these beautiful lights, with what we're about to see, is a touch of magic. And that magic will reach many thousands of people, and it will go out a very long time. So to me, redefining place and space and identity is something that all of us, no matter what our story is, no matter what our journey is absolutely fundamental to focusing and creating the country that we all want. A country where Indigenous identity or Aboriginal and Torres Strait people are recognised not as some little add-on over there, not some little enclave, but absolutely fundamental to every institution and fundamental to the very basis of this country. And that is what Courting Blakness does. It truly and really does. It is about, as I said, redefining place, space and identity. Can I just finish up by saying something that I think is very important, and that is about the curator of this show. And you only have to look around to see who's here. Some extremely significant people. But to say that, you know, one of the things, and Fiona Foley did for me many, many years ago, is that the first piece of Aboriginal art that I ever purchased was one of Fiona's early works. It is a beautiful, quite large piece that is so symbolic of her place. It has a dingo, it has the yams, it has the moon, it has the ocean, and it has the earth. And I just wanted to recognise that native title is now part of that story as well. So to the university, to the curator, to the 25,000 people that will walk through this space, to everyone here tonight, particularly the artist, congratulations. It gives me the most enormous pleasure and gratitude and humbleness to launch Courting Blakness, Recalibrating Knowledge. I open the exhibition and I open the wonderful, wonderful thing that is about to happen at this university.
Thank you, Linda Burney. What an articulate and sensitive exploration of all of the purposes and values of this project, and we're so grateful that you would do that for us. It's now our great pleasure to hear a performance by Miss Telia Watson. Let me introduce Telia to you. Telia Watson, or Ancestress, is a Birragubawiri and Kungaloo Dawson River Murray from the areas now referred to as Central and North Queensland. Born and raised in Brisbane, Telia has worked professionally in the performing arts industry for over 8 years, as well as performing traditional dance from an early age. She is a singer, songwriter, poet, actor, hip-hop artist, arts work facilitator, writer and multimedia visual artist. Focusing more on political, philosophical and evolutionary insight, Telia writes about pressing issues from a unique black perspective. Telia Watson.
Thank you. I'd like to also acknowledge Uncle Des and his people and beautiful country. And this song is called One by One. They killed us one by one, they killed us two by two, they shot us down with guns and they poisoned our food. stole my talk and they stole my walk, and what belongs to us is now sold and bought. But they carry their flags, and it's an honor, such an honor when they fly that flag. Did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum. They killed us man by man, they killed us clan by clan, they gave us new demands, took away our lands. Stole my talk, yes they stole my walk, and what belongs to us is now sold and bought. Still feed me poison food, give a place for the rude. They stripped necessity nude so they could build an excuse, but they carry their flags, and it's an honor, such an honor when they fly that flag. Did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum. Take the meat, keep leaving the bone, poverty at peak, feeling all alone. Sovereignty it speaks, this has always been home, and still the stories we keep reflect the peace we've known. But they kill us today, still take our kids away, still they carry out war just in a different way. But they carry their flags like it's an honor when they fly that flag. Did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum, did-it-dum, did-dum. We all need to decolonize, and slow but sure is the process, breaking down our own walls with no protest, accepting our own flaws and that we know less. But hey, young Murray, we aren't hopeless. Our ability to find, it's in our bloodline, running through our veins like the waters through the scrub during the flood times, wiping the weak and stripping the leaves, leaving mud lines just like the lessons that we keep creased in our minds. Muddy waters so deep still reflects the sunshine, cleaning the riverbeds and creeks, delete pollution and fix in one time, denounce defeat, and in our sleep spirits speak our complete philosophy, well at least sometimes. And when I feel the needs to battle and compete with the sheep's complacent confines, I try to set my spirit free and just breathe. Let go of all that hatred and break them strong binds. Knowledge is the key, and there are stories for all songlines, just like our own kind's lives. It's like we are the leaves stretching out, but staying tied to that same vine, reaching and yearning for learning and unlearning war, so turning that it's burning all the dead wood and dry grass of my past. Replenishment comes now each and every day at last. The banishment of our humanness is never gonna last. Like a spell cast, there's magic in our souls, making whole but bearing no halves, fueling the fire with its coals, changed desires but never sold, wearing no mask. So I throw myself in now, ready for cleaning and cleansing. I won't let the flood flow past, so don't let that flood flow past. Thank you.
Thank you, Tila Watson. That's powerful stuff. Thank you. It's now our pleasure to hear from Miss Lou Bennett, a singer. Let me introduce Lou. Yorta Yorta Jaja Warung performer. Lou Bennett is a former member of the internationally acclaimed trio Titus. Titus, sorry. I'll never be corrected. Lou is a prolific songwriter-composer, and during her 10 years with Titus, she penned some of the group's signature songs. Miss Bennett. Thank you.
That song, Yakama, Puma, Waka.
Thank you, Lou Bennett. I've been entertained, but I think I've been taught more than entertained. Thank you. What a great evening. It's now time to extend some expressions of gratitude, and there are a few. We'd like to, and I act in this on behalf of the University of Queensland, and I feel that position quite significantly. The university recognises and expresses appreciation to the Queensland Government through Arts Queensland, part of the Department of Science, Information Technology, Innovation and the Arts. These are expressions of gratitude in relationship to Courting Blakness and the project that we're celebrating tonight. We express gratitude to Copyright Australia Limited, the UQ Art Museum, Professor Fred D'Agostino, School of English Media Studies and Art History, the National Indigenous Research and Knowledge Network at the Queensland University of Technology, alumni friends of the University of Queensland, the Faculty of Business, Economics and Law, the School of Political Science and International Studies, the School of Journalism and Communication, and the National Tertiary Education Union. Now it also, and this too is in particular on behalf of Adjunct Professor Fiona Foley and Dr. Fiona Nicol, we'd like to express appreciation to colleagues and research higher degree students in the schools of EMSA, that is the English, Media Studies and Art History, and POLSIS, that's Political Science and International Studies, who have supported the realisation of this project. Expressions of appreciation are given to Dr. Kathy Lawrence and Waraba Weatherall for their outstanding work as assistant project managers and curator respectively. To Jodie Cox and John Stafford, co-directors of Creative Move, who have done so much to realise this project here. To Mr. Greg Bain from the University of Queensland Press for his support for the publication that is coming out of Courting Blakness. For Morgan Richards for her stunning website design. Brad McChrystal for his video work and the students and UQ graduates who have contributed their writing to the site. To Daniel Walker and Michelle Nessick from the Equity Office for hosting diversity discussions to communicate about the project to wider university community. To Professor Tim Dunn and professional staff from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. To Professor Gay Hawkins and Emeritus Professor Graham Turner and professional staff from the Centre for Critical and Cultural Studies. To staff from the UQ Art Museum for their continuous and generous assistance. To colleagues from law, anthropology, political science and international studies, Australian studies, education, linguistics and psychology, who will be using the exhibition in their courses this semester. For researchers, artists and arts professionals who have come out from all over Australia to join us for this wonderful symposium. And certainly not least, we would like to thank the 8 artists: Natalie Harkin, Christian Thompson, Megan Cope, Michael Cook, Ryan Presley, Ree, Archie Moore, and Carla Dickens. Fiona Foley and Fiona Nicol says especially we thank them for their patience while this project unfolded over the past 3 years. Now, in somewhat a more personal but no less institutional expression of gratitude, to Dr. Fiona Nicol, Senior Lecturer in the School of English, Media Studies and Art History. You'll find on the website, in a little place on one of the pages, this phrase, related to the exhibition, curated by Fiona Foley, but put together by, sorry, not but, and put together by Dr. Fiona Nicol. And it's been my experience that Dr. Nicol has been the companion to Adjunct Professor Fiona Foley right through this process, managing the processes, managing the difficulties, the obstacles and politics. And so I express gratitude to you, Dr. Fiona Nicol. And of course, finally, Fiona Foley, Adjunct Professor, in 2 schools, both the School of English Media Studies and Art History and the School of Political Science and International Studies, an unusual adjunct professorship. I want to thank her, an Australian contemporary artist, adjunct professor, and curator of the exhibition and collaborator on the symposium. Fiona has realised a marvellous accomplishment, an outstanding expression of discourse through the exhibition and through the symposium, and also managing the tricky authorities within the university structure. We thank you, Fiona, for all that has been accomplished. Now we're closing the proceedings tonight, but not ending all of the events that are going to take place. Following this formal part, and we're just about at the end, we will witness the projections of 3 of the artists' work on campus here that you have seen before the light faded. Michael Cook's work, Ryan Presley's and Archie Moore's here on campus. The other 5 artists' works are going to be projected on the side of this building here following these proceedings. They will also be projected from 6 p.m. tomorrow night, so we welcome you back to see them again. Let me make sure that I've covered everything I need to. I think I have. Mostly, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for being a part of this wonderful celebration. We invite you to remain to watch the presentations on the wall and to enjoy the university's hospitality. Thank you for being with us tonight.